Ms. Webster, you recently learned shocking news that Myron Smith, the man you believe to be your dad, and who paid child support for you, may not be your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now you've dragged the defendant, Mr. Ware, to paternity court to prove that he is your father and claim today's results will prove your case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Ware, you admit that you had a relationship with Ms. Webster's mother around the time of conception, but say for the past 40 years you were told Mr. Smith was her father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Webster, tell me why you now believe Mr. Ware is your father.
Your Honor, I worked in a beauty salon with some of his relatives, and they always kind of had something against me. I heard a relative say that that's not none of your father. So I started questioning. I asked my mom, I talked to Mr. Smith, like, why are they saying that I'm not a part of their family?
When you questioned Mr. Smith, what did he say?
He said, you will always be my daughter. I believe in my heart that you are, and no matter what, you'll always be my daughter.
And that still wasn't answer enough for you? You still had doubts?
I still had doubts. I was a blood donor. We talked about blood types, and I know that the mother and the father of the child will have one or the other, and me and Mr. Smith don't have the same blood type. I was in question again. I'm very curious. I was with my cousin, Miss Smith, and she said, you know, I really believe in my heart that Mr. Ware is your father. She said, you walk like him, you chuckle like him. She said, if I close my eyes and you both chuckle, you wouldn't know the difference.
Really?
I had a baby book for a long time, and I never really started putting things together until the blood type wasn't the same. And I'm looking in the baby book, and there's relatives of Mr. Ware's family that signed in when I was born. They bought gifts. There was an address.
Really?
Yeah, they had the address.
Relatives of Mr. Ware,
yes, Your Honor,
have signed into your baby book when you were born.
Correct, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Ware?
Yes, ma'am.
You knew of this young woman.
Yes, I did.
But you do not believe you're her biological father?
No, I do not. Because at the time when her mom and I were dating, she was in between two cities, Louisville, Kentucky, and Dayton, Ohio. And she would spend months there and months here. And during that time, when she became pregnant, she explained to me that she was, and that it was another man's child.
So she told you?
Yes, she did.
That it was someone else's baby?
Yes, she did.
Did you ever do the math and think about when she possibly was conceived and whether or not you were in a relationship with her mother at that time?
No, Your Honor. At that time, being, I believe, around 15, 16 years old, I didn't know anything about timelines.
So you just took her word for it?
Yes.
At 15, 16 years old?
Yes,
I see
Your Honor.
that. So Ms. Webster says she would hear things. Did you ever get any trickles of information?
No, Your Honor. I never got anything, never got any information.
How did you lose contact? You all dated, were you boyfriend and girlfriend in high school?
Yes, Your Honor, we were, but we lost contact because a couple of years after that, I went into the military.
Okay. And when you came back, no one said to you, you may have a child?
No one said that to me, and the mom had moved back to Ohio, so I never saw her for years.
Were you there when her mom was pregnant?
Yes, I was there when her mom was pregnant. As a matter of fact, we continued to date at that point. I remember times being with the mom and rubbing her belly and just always there to support her.
Are you sure you had not impregnated her?
I was sure that I had not impregnated her because she told me that.
All right, so let's fast forward to the day you finally get to meet Mr. Ware.
We went to visit him at his church. I knew who he was, but he didn't know who I was. I just been praying, you know, that I find out who my father is. There's things in my life, there's roadblocks and stumbles I've been going through. There's things goals I'm achieving, and knowing who my father is one of them. And I came to the Lord. I went to the altar. They had altar call. And I went up and I just prayed that God give me a sign to reveal what's going on. So I'm praying and I'm nervous, but I just felt this energy. And when they asked for the prayer warriors to come out. And when I got up, Mr. Ware was standing right behind me. So out of all the
And did
people,
you know it was Mr. Ware?
When I was down, no, I didn't know who was standing there when I got up. You know, I get up and I turn around and he's right there. So, I mean, something, it's gotta be some energy, it's gotta be something. It can't be in vain. You are a deacon, right?
Yes, I am.
And he's a spiritual person.
Did
I
you
know?
know it was her? Did you know it was Miss Webster, this baby?
I did
That
not.
you knew before she even left the womb? Did you know?
No, I did not know at that time until she introduced herself.
Well, I also went to meet your mother, and she said, I knocked on the door, and I said, hi, I'm Demisha, I'm Marsha's daughter. And she stepped back, she said, well, baby, what took you so long? Did your mama get that blood test done?
Maybe my mom knew something that I didn't know. But at that time, I took it from her mother to be truth that this was not my child. I never believed in my heart that she was my child.
So you did not feel a connection like this could be my daughter? The way in which she says your mother reacted when she met her and said, what took you so long?
No, Your Honor, I did not. The fact of the matter is that you are not my child. I love you like a child and like a sister, but you're not my child.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell.
My name is Tamara Smith, and I grew up in the household with Demisha's mother, Miss Webster.
Okay.
Mr. Ware was like a part of our family. I know what Miss Webster may have told him, that he wasn't the father, but I believe in my heart when Miss Webster left Louisville to move back to Dayton, Ohio, that she left her pregnant.
How is it that as the cousin, you know more than the mother? Or is it something you observed? You knew that they were in a sexual relationship around the time?
Yes.
So you know for certain that around the time Miss Webster was conceived,
Yes.
your cousin, which is her mother, was having sex with Mr. Ware?
Yes, I know that.
Do you know anything about why her mother chose to tell him you're not the father?
I think she may have told him because when she moved back to Dayton, she started a relationship with this other guy. I think that's what happened.
Well, I wanted to get your opinion on it, and Ms. Webster's mother is in court today, so I'm going to have a chance to ask her that very same question. But before we get to that point, I'd like to speak to the other possible father. Ron, can you please escort him into the courtroom?
Yes, Your Honor. We're going to go right up here to the witness stand, please.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Smith. As you know, we're here discussing the paternity as it relates to Miss Webster. You have been paying child support.
Yes, I have.
But you don't believe you're her biological father.
No, I don't. I can tell you why.
Please.
Miss Webster was born September the 17th, which means that she had to be conceived either late December or January of 76 or late December of 75. I was in the United States Army, stationed in Fort Hood, Texas.
Really?
Right there. She was born September the 17th. Last time I was home on leave was late November. So in order for her to be born in September, she had to be conceived either late December or early January. I was in Fort Hood, Texas.
And if you come home for Thanksgiving, that's too far away.
Yeah,
That's almost.
that would make Miss Brady 42 weeks pregnant. And I don't know nobody that carried a child 42 weeks.
So how did you end up paying child support if you weren't even there?
Because I was raised to do the right thing and I was naive about it and I signed the papers.
Miss Webster, you were initially told he was your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Smith has always said, no matter what, you'll always be my daughter. So I just accepted it. But as the older I got, I'm like, it's not adding up. It's not making sense. And then
They don't share a father-daughter relationship.
I can see that this confusion just really eats away at you. I can see it in your eyes.
it does, Your Honor. It's just like there's something missing. I just want to know who I belong to, my identity. I deserve to know that.
Yes, you do.
I feel that I can get some closure and move on. I might be a bride one day. I need my dad to walk me down the aisle. I have grandchildren. I might need advice.
You're right. You deserve that. I want to get some more answers for you. I would like to call your mother into the courtroom. And Mr. Smith, I'm going to ask you to please step down.
Yes, ma'am.
And stand right next to Mr. Ware, if you don't mind.
Brady, you would. We're going to walk up to the witness stand right next to the judge up there. Okay.
Miss Brady, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Of course, we are here regarding your daughter and her search to find her father. What was going on at the time? And who is her biological father?
Her biological father is Mr. Myron Smith.
Standing right there.
Yes.
He says he was gone. He was serving the time that she was conceived. Is that not true?
Right. But Mr. Smith also came home on leave. Once we got together, Mr. Smith went back to the service, and then I was pregnant. When Mr. Smith called me one day, I said, you know what? I'm pregnant.
I've never received that call, Your Honor.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yes, you did.
You don't remember this conversation,
No,
Mr.
I don't,
Smith?
not at all.
Oh.
When I come home from the military, I got a letter in the mail stating that I had to come down to the child support. When I got there, Miss Webster, Miss Brady was there. She said that I'm Miss Webster's dad. So, being naive, I just took her for a word. I signed the papers. I said, because I'm going to do the right thing and step up to the plate. If it's my child, then I'm going to be there for her. But as she got older in time and you start hearing different things and different parts of stories of this, that, and the other, and Miss Webster and myself got together some years ago and discussed this about, we went into detail about, who her natural dad is. And I think we both should know because we've been struggling with this for over 10, 15 years now, and I feel like that we both should know.
And Miss Brady, do you have any doubts
No.
as to whether or not Mr. Smith is Miss Webster's biological
No.
father? You don't. You say it just as plain.
Yes.
You know
Yes.
it's him.
Yes.
And you're positive.
Yes.
So when Mr. Ware talks about being there and rubbing your stomach and all of that, you weren't also in a relationship with him?
I was in a relationship with Mr. Ware. He was my supporter. He did everything for me, with me, and everything. But he's not the father.
So why do you think your cousin is saying this?
I don't know why Miss Smith is saying this. She know more than I do, I guess.
She said she remembers during the time Miss Webster was conceived that you were also sleeping with and having a relationship with Mr. Ware.
Right.
So you were.
Right.
So he is potentially.
No, it's not Mr. Ware's baby.
Okay, well.
It's not.
All right, the only way we are truly going to get down to the bottom of this, since everyone seems to have a different story, is to get the results. Ron, the envelope, please.
I have two, ma'am.
Thank you. In the case of Webster v. Ware, when it comes to 40-year-old Demisha Webster, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Smith, you are not her father. Are you surprised?
Hurt? Yes. Surprised? No.
I thank you for everything that you've done for me.
Always, baby.
I appreciate you. And like you said,
Always. Always, sweetie. All you gotta do is call me. You know I'm coming.
Miss Brady, you just told me you were sure.
I thought I was sure. I thought I really had it in my heart that Mr. Smith
We were kids.
was her dad.
Well, I have the results here for Mr. Ware. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows.
Let me say this before you read those results. Demisha was named for my cousin Marika and Mr. Ware. His middle name and Marika's name together, and that's how she got to be Demisha.
Mr. Ware, did you know she was named after you?
Yes, I did, Your Honor. And of course, Marcia and I, we got together to name her at the
Yes.
time. I do remember that.
You dated through the process, you named her together, but you were sure he was not the father?
Right.
And you made him certain he was not the father?
Right.
Let's go to the results. In the case of Webster versus Ware, when it comes to 40-year-old Demisha Webster, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Ware, you are not her father. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sit down.
Have a seat right here, please.
Sit down.
We shouldn't
love
have
you.
opened up a can of worms. That can of worms should have been closed.
But I deserve to know.
Baby, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I have to ask you, who do you remember? Do you have any idea?
No.
It's all good. This doesn't do nothing but make me stronger. It don't even matter at this point. I'm 40 years old. My stepfather's been in my life. He's raised his grandkids, my kids. He's been there. That's my dad.
Ms. Dupree, you're here because you say if you cannot resolve your paternity dispute, your 13-year relationship with the defendant is on the brink of ending. You're here to prove that he is the father of your 4-month-old twins, Sky and Skylar, and you're hoping to save your family. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mr. Flagg, you say you were devastated when just 4 days ago, the plaintiff confirmed your suspicion. She cheated on you with an ex during the time of conception. You claim your family's future is at risk and state you plan to leave her if the DNA results prove you are not the twins' biological father. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, Mr. Dupree,
Yes,
is he
Your
or is
Honor.
he not your children's
Yes,
father?
Your Honor. Yes,
He is.
Yes, he is.
You're positive.
Yes. We've been together for 13 years off and on from high school, and we had practically planned this whole thing. And he stayed with me for like 8 months out of my apartment. So we've been together, and all we did is basically play house the whole time.
So high school sweethearts.
Yes.
And you all were even living together at some point.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so when these children were conceived, did you live together?
Yes, Your Honor.
You did. And you say you know he's your children's father because of what? The amount of time you spent together?
Yes. Also, I had 2 miscarriages through this. We planned it, and all of a sudden when I get pregnant, you want to say that you are not the father.
Mr. Flagg, so you've been with this woman since high school.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so when you find out she's pregnant,
When I first found out, Your Honor, I was happy.
you were. Take your time. This is what this is about. We're trying to get to the truth about the twins and their paternity. So when you found out, did you initially have that feeling like, I'm going to be a father? Or did you feel like, I might be a father?
I had feel like I might be the father.
Did he express this feeling to you when you told him you were pregnant?
Yes, Your Honor, but he was telling me I was pregnant. I didn't even know I was pregnant. You know what I'm saying? During around my birthday time, October the 15th, he was like, you're pregnant, you don't need to be partying, you don't need to be angry like that because you're pregnant. And I didn't believe him. I just, you know what I'm saying, wouldn't believe him until I took the test, and that's when I found out. He's the one told me, and he was having a morning sickness and sleeping and eating. He told me.
So you were having the pregnancy symptoms?
Yes, Your Honor, because it is kind of strange, but yes.
No, you hear
I
about
was.
that the men feel the symptoms as well. So you started feeling symptoms of pregnancy.
Yes.
And you said to her, I think you might be pregnant.
Yes,
So why wouldn't you believe they were yours?
because I had doubts, Your Honor. I had found out the real truth like 2 days ago.
So tell me what you heard 2 days ago. What did you hear exactly?
Well, Your Honor, she had told me the truth about her ex-boyfriend.
She did.
Yes.
What did she say?
She had told me she was sleeping with him.
She was.
Yeah. And I was mad. I had to calm myself down and just go outside and just cool my head and
So just 2 days ago, you found out that she had slept with her ex. Now let me ask you this. Was it during the window of time when your twins were conceived?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that true, Ms. Dupree?
No, I told him that because I was mad at him. We was arguing at the time about whether he was the father or not.
So you just told him?
Because we was arguing and whatever, and I was trying to get back at him because he cheated on me, and I was trying to get back at him. He's the one that's been cheating, Your Honor.
So out of revenge, you just told him, I cheated on you with my ex?
Yes. Your Honor.
So, Mr. Flagg, when did your doubt begin?
Well, Your Honor, you know, when I was on my way home to her, right, one day. I'm coming home, I'm happy. I step in the house. The whole house smelled like sex, Your Honor.
Oh.
And so when I go in towards the bedroom, her hair messed up.
I want to hear this story.
Looking around the house, everything's straight. But when I got to my the bedroom, like on the side of the bed, it's some shoes.
Some shoes?
Yeah. So I'm looking at the
Your Honor,
shoes
that's
and
not
looking at
true.
my size. Your Honor, I'm looking at my size of shoes, so I'm gonna say like this. These are my shoes. They are 8.5. These are not my shoes. These are 11 or 13 size.
You saw some big shoes next to your bed.
Yes.
And clearly, if you're a size 8, they aren't your shoes.
I don't wear a size 11, 12, Your Honor. I wear a size 8,
So
8.5.
you see these shoes.
I had asked her, whose shoes are they? She like, it don't matter, just leave it alone. I'm like, what you mean leave it alone?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Did you say it didn't matter, Mr. Dupree,
Yes,
when
Your
he
Honor.
saw these shoes and said, whose
Yes,
shoes
Your
are
Honor.
they? So he did see the shoes.
Yes, he
They
did.
were big shoes.
They was big shoes.
And they were by the side of the bed.
Yes.
And they weren't his.
They wasn't his, Your Honor. They was my friend, the boyfriend, because they both came over.
So-and-so's boyfriend was
Yes.
by the bed?
No, I have a one-bedroom apartment. The bathroom was inside of my bedroom. They both took a shower at my house because, like, just visiting and staying with me. So her boyfriend didn't have enough time to go home, drop her off and go home and get ready for work. So she asked me, can he get ready for work there? I said, sure. So he came and took a shower. He put his work boots on and left his shoes there.
Why not just tell this story and say, don't worry about it?
Then,
That's
Your Honor,
just true because I should have told him, but it was,
I mean, let's just be honest.
yes.
but
If
Your
it's
Honor,
that innocent and it's no big deal, then it's, well, you know,
I was mad at
so-and-so's boyfriend was over here and he changed before he
Excuse
went to
me, Your
work.
Honor.
Those are his shoes. Why are they by the bed?
I just ain't moving and she didn't move.
2 days ago, Mr. Flagg, she told you she had slept with her ex.
yes.
And so is he a bigger guy that would have bigger shoes like that?
Well, I never met the man, Your Honor. So,
Do you know what he looks like?
No, I really don't. But I did ask her, can I smell her,
I'm going to say that I just understood the testimony and not have you repeat that. So you asked to smell her body because you felt like the house smelled like sexual intercourse had taken place imminently.
yeah.
Did she allow you to do that?
No.
Okay. So then that led you to believe what?
She was cheating, Your Honor.
Ms. Dupree, what was going on? Did it smell like sex?
Yes,
Were
it
you?
did, Your Honor.
It did?
From my friend and her boyfriend.
So then why was your hair messed up?
Because I came in, I went to sleep.
Wait, but you said it's a one-bedroom apartment.
Yeah, I went to sleep when
But,
they
Your
got in the
Honor.
shower.
When they got in the shower,
Yes, I went to sleep.
you went to sleep in the same bed where
No,
they were
wasn't
where
in
the
my
shoes?
bed. No, they wasn't in my bed.
Your Honor, she had told me, she admitted to telling me her boyfriend was there, her ex-boyfriend was there.
So did you admit that your ex-boyfriend was there that day?
Yes, I meant it because when we was broken up and I did let him come and visit.
And you did have sex with him?
No, I did not have sex with him. I just told him that because I wanted to get back at him because all the times he cheated and came in and when around my birthday, when I broke up with him and I asked him to work on our family, 2 days later he had sex with the girl and some girl and he had the smell all on his face and he smelled like sex. So I just told him I had sex with my ex.
It's too
to
many
get back at him.
smells in this case. Jerome, there's just some testimony I wish I didn't have to hear. Woo! Okay, your ex-boyfriend did come to the house.
Yes.
But you say you didn't sleep with him.
No,
So
man, cheat.
something is not adding up. Don't you agree, Jerome?
I agree. Something's very smelly.
There were large shoes shoes by your bed. You admit the house smelled like there was sexual intercourse going on, but you said your boyfriend was there, but you say that wasn't true because you were just trying to get back at him for cheating on you.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Mr. Flagg, how soon after this incident did she tell you she's pregnant?
It was like 1 month later.
1 month?
Yes.
So a month later, she says, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
And you're remembering the shoe incident?
Yes.
Do you remember how far along you were when you told him you were pregnant, Ms. Dupree?
Yes, almost 2 months.
So you were just 2 months?
Yes.
So you're thinking as you look back through the dates, 2 months, that's about the time that this whole thing went down with the house and the smell and the shoes?
Yes.
So now that the babies are here, who is stepping up? Are you Mr. Flagg?
Yes, I will step up, because
You will or you have been?
I've been, yes, I have. I
No,
have
you
been
have
stepping
not.
up, though.
Your Honor, no, he have not.
He has-
He have not did really nothing for my kids. He only thing he bought was the car seats. I did the whole baby shower. When he came with 1 case of diapers, a blanket for each baby, some socks for each baby, the face rags, and maybe 2, 3 outfits. And since we've been living together, he's just been buying diapers, and that's it. When I was pregnant, he told me to buy the big stuff, and he was gonna buy the little stuff, and he won't do nothing.
And I can see that hurts you.
And yes, it do. And then when he was like, you need to get a job. So I got a job, and I asked him to watch him. I'll come home, he just leave him wet.
So you submitted video evidence to the court.
Yes.
Here it is. You say he just ignores the babies. This is what it looks like when he's supposedly taking care of the
Yes.
babies.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Flagg, I mean, you got 2 twins. Are you somehow unconsciously, even if it's not on purpose, are you trying not to bond with these babies?
Before I had kids, I was with this other woman. I'm going through the same thing like with this one.
What do you mean?
I had another paternity test with another kid.
You had another paternity situation.
Yeah.
With another woman.
Yes. When she said the baby ain't yours, I'm like, I can't do this no more.
And I can see that really hurts you.
I love those babies. It just, always have doubts. It's just like, is it mine? I'm really sick of tired going through it. I really am.
And I can see the tears in your eyes because this really bothers you. This is what this is about.
I really love these kids, and I really want to marry Mr. Dupree.
And you're just so worried that if they're not your children, it's the end of a 13-year relationship. And again, it will be 3 children you thought in your lifetime were yours, and they ended up not being. Ms. Dupree, do you worry that he will walk away from this if the twins are not his biological children?
We had 2 miscarriages before this.
You
and
did?
that hurt it. Yes, and that's hurt it. And it just, like, God just gave me this blessing or 2. And I always wanted kids, and that hurt it. And when he denied my kids, that makes me feel like he don't even care. And it just hurt. And I just want to get it over with and for his family to know.
That's all right, sweetheart. I know. Both of you have been through so much. Miscarriages, paternity situations that didn't turn out the way you want.
And I always
It's very
wanted-
emotional.
And it's just like, my daddy wasn't there, so I want my kids to grow up without a father. Because I didn't grow up with him. I don't want them to go through that. I want him to raise his son to be a man. I could raise my daughter to become a woman. I don't want them to go through what I've been through.
You've been through a lot. And I understand how important these results are to you both and to the children. So there is so much riding on these results today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you ready for them?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because the twins are fraternal, we, of course, tested each child. All right? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Dupree versus Flagg, when it comes to 4-month-old twins, Sky Dupree Flagg and Skylar Dupree Flagg, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Flagg, you are their father. Congratulations, Mr. Flagg. You happy?
Yes, I'm very happy. And I probably want to do something else too.
What would you like to do?
I love you.
Thank you. I'm so nervous. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I love you. You my anything, everything. I would do anything for you. I would run across the world for you. Will you marry me?
Well, I have to say, after such a stinky start, this ended up, we came out smelling like roses. I'll say it that way. Mr. Morris, you're here because you say certain facts have come to light that make you believe that you fathered one of Miss Thorpe's twins and not the other. You claim a botched home DNA test separated you from your daughter, London, and you intend to rectify that issue today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Thorpe, you say Mr. Morris's claim is ridiculous and that he very clearly fathered both of your twins, Paris and London. And you say Mr. Morris's efforts to go behind your back blew up in his face, and you intend to clean up his mess today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Morris, what do you mean you're the father of one twin and not the other? Explain.
Exactly how it sounds. Originally, I was believed that both of them was mine. Over time, certain circumstances made me feel like neither were mine. And then after that, different things happened that made me believe just London was.
We've examined this issue completely in this courtroom, and we do know it's possible for a man to be the father of one of two fraternal twins. So we do understand that. And that's basically what you're claiming today.
Yes, ma'am.
Twins with two different fathers. Now that would be shocking. Please take me back now to your relationship, Miss Thorpe. You're saying that you know he is the father?
Yes, Your Honor.
Of both twins?
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
I was seeing another guy at the time that me and Antoine was talking, but the time matched up to Antoine being the father of both of my kids. Before anything, we were friends, so I don't even understand why he's even putting me through this. I told Antoine that I wanted to be in a relationship with him, and he turned me down because he was still in love with the mother of his other child. So, so when that time happened, I got upset and I started messing with another guy.
Okay, and this was after you were already intimate with Mr. Morris?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you went into the tit for tat, if he don't want me, I'll go be with somebody else. He's with somebody else, I'll go get somebody else.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you keep having sex with Mr. Morris?
I did. Yes, Your Honor.
So, Miss Thorpe, at some point you find out you're pregnant. Take me to that day.
I went to the doctor for like just a regular checkup. She came in and she told me that I was pregnant. He was very happy. He seemed like he was very happy about the situation.
I was ecstatic. I was very, very happy. Like I went all out. I bought two of everything. It cost a lot. It was bassinets here, strollers there, car seats. Moved her into a family member house during her pregnancy. Try to make her as comfortable as possible. She hungry every day. I gotta feed her.
That's the least you could do.
But I was there. I was picking out baby names, you know, just ready for the whole ordeal.
You were there?
Yes.
Were you there for the birth?
Yes, ma'am. I was the first one to get to see him and hold him. She was in a lot of pain, and they was in an NICU unit. They was only 3 pounds. But it was amazing, though. It was Spent the next couple months inside the hospital. I was there every moment, every day. Outside of work, I was there, nursing them back to health.
So you were committed.
Of course.
So, Mr. Morris, when do you get doubtful?
Honestly, just one day I was in a local drugstore, and out of the blue, I know it sounds crazy, but this DNA test was just sticking out, and like everything else was just like black. I'm like, a test? So I bought it, just like that. I didn't doubt him, not one bit, but I went back to the house without Imani's knowledge, and inside the test, it was a thing where you get 3 samples, one for the father, one for the child, and one for the child's mother. But of course, she didn't know, so I swabbed myself, Paris, and then I used the one for the mother on the other child.
Your Honor, he told me he don't even know which child he swabbed.
No, I don't know which child ended up being tested, because they only tested one. I called the DNA place after, and I kind of explained the situation. And she said if I got a results back at all, then they collected 2 separate DNAs from what I sent in. She said if it was completed wrong or didn't have enough or whatever, then it would have came back NA.
Okay, inconclusive.
Yes, ma'am. Like I said, just...
All right, so you send the results in, and of course, how do they come back?
0% probability.
But you do understand that you didn't even use the swabs right.
I would just hope, I don't know. Like I said, so...
No, you don't.
I don't, I didn't.
No, I mean, the truth is you don't. You was making something up.
But everything was just confusing, so...
It was.
And I was lost. That's why we're here today.
And it is. Miss Thorpe, so what happens after he gets these results back? He comes to you and tells you he did it?
No, Your Honor, I was at work at the time. He actually texted me and told me that the DNA test came back and that the twins were not his. At the time, I didn't respond automatically because, like I said, I was at work. So he ended up getting very upset and ended up posting it all over social media and telling everybody. He posted all over social media and told everybody that the DNA test came back and that the kids were not his.
Did you also post, Mr. Morris, that you didn't do the test properly?
No.
I know you didn't. All right, so now you got it all over social media that these aren't my babies. I've done a DNA test and these aren't my babies, and you lying. That's basically what he's saying.
Yes, Your Honor.
When I called and said the results, I got a response that was like she knew. She had just said, when I said, I got a test done on the twins, they are not mine. And her response was, oh.
Oh!
Your Honor, on my defense, I was at work at the time. I wasn't able to respond the way that I wanted to respond.
When I got the O, you knew.
Right.
But that's no reason to put it on Facebook, though, Your Honor.
No, that is no reason to put it.
At the time, I was more so hurt than...
You were being a drama king.
Yeah.
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 Because that's dramatic. Because the truth is, that's not just about you or her, that's about the babies. So this whole thing blows up, you leave and don't come back for almost 18 months.
Yes, ma'am.
What makes you get back in touch with Miss Thorpe?
I honestly was asking around about how they was doing or what they was looking like. Family members and friends started to say, you sure they're not yours? And I had got sent a picture of my youngest daughter now, and it was side by side with London. I feel like they look just alike. They the same age.
Oh, you had 2 women pregnant at the same time?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you on team too much all the way around. All the way around.
Yes, ma'am.
So you had another baby by another woman at the same time.
The same reason when I was telling Imani why I couldn't be in a relationship with her, because I was in a long-term relationship with someone else. We was on a break then. But not too much of a break, because you obviously had sex with her. Yes, Your Honor.
Is that baby yours?
Yes.
And then you also had twins with Miss Thorpe, same time, maybe, you think.
That's the twins, and that's my youngest.
So when you see the babies, you feel like you see a resemblance between London and your youngest.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you don't believe you see a resemblance between Paris and your youngest.
Not as much, but the reason I'm saying Paris, on that test, the test still came back of results. If I'm believing one might be, then one still can't be.
Because you're going back to your call to the lab and them saying that if your test is inconclusive, the results come back inconclusive.
Yes.
Or N/A.
Yes, yes.
Which in your mind means, at least for one of them, you're not the biological father.
That's the only explanation.
All right. So you get back in touch and you then let Ms. Thorpe know, okay, I believe I'm the father of one twin because everybody's telling me that this is my child.
I didn't tell her that exactly. I was just trying to check up on the girls, and she said, I could see them, and that's why I've been around for the last 2 years.
What kind of relationship do you have with the twins now?
Great.
They call you daddy?
No.
They're 4.
They call me Uncle Twan.
Uncle Twan.
Yes.
Boy, you about crazy. You just got too much going on. You done gone through all this only for the children and now call you Uncle Twan?
I didn't tell them to.
Oh, you told him to, Miss Thorpe?
No, Your Honor. They just developed that because he's been around since day one. So with him being around so much, they asked was Twan their dad, but I told them no.
This is a mess. This is a mess. You know what? It started off messy. The middle was messy. The end is messy. You all should be ashamed. These babies 4 years old sitting up. Really? To be 4 years old and have to sit up and ask 2 grown adults, is somebody my daddy? Babies got more sense than the mama and the daddy. Why, Miss Thorpe, would you look at these 2 girls and you say you know for certain Mr. Morris is their biological father? Why would you tell them no?
Because we wasn't for sure at the time. I didn't want
so
to
you
tell
aren't
anyone's
sure.
father.
You aren't sure.
I mean, at the time, I didn't feel like I was sure, so I didn't want to have them call. And then he wasn't even around.
So wait a minute,
so
who else could be their dad?
The other guy that I was talking
So you really don't know if he's the dad or not?
I feel like he is.
Oh, Lord. A feeling, a feeling, a feeling. We're not talking about feelings. We're talking about facts. Do you know for certain if Mr. Morris is your twin's biological father? Yes or no? Do you know for certain?
No, Your Honor.
There. You all just been circling around this doubt, circling around this dysfunction, circling around all of this confusion. Trying to raise these babies? What's that little game you play when you little? What's that one where the music play and you just be running around? Musical chairs.
Musical chairs.
That's what it feels like. Like you all just running around and then when the music stops, y'all just jump to a conclusion at work. Just jump down on it and sit down on that for a while. Then the music play and you all just get back running around again. One of them might be calling their daddy Uncle Twan. Jerome, give me the envelope. I'm about so sick of this. Don't even make any sense. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. There are 2 sets of results because they are fraternal twins, so we tested each twin individually, of course. This first result is for Paris. In the case of Morris versus Thorpe, when it comes to 4-year-old Paris Morris, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Morris, you are not the father. Well, you were correct there. You are not Paris's biological father. Ms. Thorpe, you don't look surprised. The next result is for London. In the case of Morris versus Thorpe, when it comes to 4-year-old London Morris, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Morris, you are not the father. Ms. Thorpe, somewhere inside of you, you knew this was a very real possibility. I can see your reaction. Who is their father?
The other guy I was talking to. When I told him I was pregnant, he stopped talking to me.
So this makes sense. So you went with the guy with the best reaction, you went with the guy that was building nurseries, you went with the guy that was going to doctor's appointments, and you went with the guy that was gonna support you through this. These twins, they need you to step in and make that call again. They deserve to know who their father is definitively.